Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Am I audible? Just put it in the chat box. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay. Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. My name is Aisha Abrar, and some of you might know me as a lactation counselor, a doula, a childbirth educator, infant feeding advisor, certified prenatal, postnatal, and exercise specialist. So, all in the field of maternal health. Alhamdulillah, I have been having 7 years of experience in this field and plus 7 years of experience in homeschooling as well. So, the time I started learning about natural birth, I also started learning about homeschooling. You can say it's working kind of parallel together, where I was trying to explore opportunities in both natural and holistic living, as well as also in homeschooling as well. So, coming to today's session, we will start with, can I really homeschool? I would want to, in between, also have some discussions with some of you to understand what exactly you're feeling when you have started homeschooling, or when you are considering homeschooling, if you're not homeschooling, or if you just know the idea of homeschooling, what exactly is going on in your minds. So, with a brief introduction at the beginning, we'll just have a few sisters speaking up, trying to know what exactly is going on with you when you're exploring the side of homeschool. Homeschooling, first of all, is a broad term. Okay, so in that, it's unschooling, it's what online schooling. You might put children to madrasa, but you might teach some parts yourself. You might want children to learn something with you as a practice, as a daily life, as a daily routine. You will want either kids to maybe just go to institutes and do a part of here and there of secular education, a part of the tarbiyah in a few other institutes. Maybe it's very mixed up. So homeschooling is a broad term, but one thing homeschool is not, is you're not replicating school fully at home. You can't create the school kind of atmosphere, like you have the ringing bell of different periods going on, and then you have a break time, then you're asking your child to sit quietly to listen. In the beginning, I'm saying it's like after the age of maybe 8 or 9 years, or after the age when you know that your child has gained maturity, then you can start instilling all the discipline, all the habits and everything. But in the beginning, homeschooling, if you have decided on homeschooling, it's not really about bringing school to home. It's only about exploring, it's about understanding, it's about building the foundation for your children to think of you as a school. Unconsciously, they are actually learning from you, the way you practice your habits, the way you practice the way you practice your communication, the way you do your things in the daily life. So they are actually being schooled in that way, unconsciously, subconsciously, everything. But this is something in conscious level that you are trying to instill them the habit of learning. And this is where you begin homeschooling. From the time you think that, no, I'm not going to send my child to any other education institution, I'm only going to focus on a few things right now. Let me try to explore what my child wants or what I want to achieve in this period of time. So all of these questions are to be answered. You will have that fear because as a mother, even if you have that support of your spouse, You are doing it alone because your spouse is working, he's earning, he's on the financial end of taking care, and you are on the end of taking care of your financial of your time management, mental health, children's health issues, sicknesses. I mean, the daily routine is completely on you. You are the manager of the home, and he's the manager of the whole household. So he's going to take care of all the financial load and everything, all external. So once that finance is coming in, with that finance, you're going to decide how you're going to take up this idea of homeschooling. So when you start, first thing is to be that you and your spouse should be on the same page. And then you start planning what you're going to do in the next few weeks or next few months of once you're going to start homeschooling with your child. It depends on your child's age. So there are so many questions that need to be answered. And finally, after discussing these questions with your spouse and talking to yourself, reflecting, doing the tadabbur, everything, you actually are, you will end up asking yourself, can I really homeschool now? Why? Because you are getting a ton of information while discussing with your spouse. You will get a ton of information while searching the internet. You will get now a ton of information while asking ChatGPT. You will get a ton of information when you talk to a lot of other women who are successfully homeschooling. You will get a ton of information reading a lot of books about homeschooling, getting the hearing about homeschooling. I mean, you will get overloaded, because I went through this phase, and I went through this phase for my first child when she was very small. We already decided that we would homeschool, and me and my husband clearly thought that, okay, inshallah, we would homeschool and we will not be sending our child to school for numerous reasons. First reason is protecting them from, we don't know what is outside, because once the child goes to school, we know that children learn a lot of habits. We cannot monitor them. It's about what their exposure is. So many things are there. Mainly the exposure they get, and how we are going to undo that exposure at home. Because when we started with this idea, it's just so difficult to think about undoing the negativity what they have got from the outside world. It's not that we are not supposed to let our children explore the outside world or meet people, but it depends on when we allow them, I think. So this is my personal opinion. So it's about when we allow them. It's not about just meeting the goals that, okay, at this age she or he has finished the surah, or she or he has finished maths multiplication at this age. Because as far as my children are concerned, I have my eldest daughter to be a hyperactive child, and she is smarter than her age in some things, and she is lesser in understanding a few things of the girls of her age. So I have to understand that first and try to accommodate those learning systems for her. In the school, you will find the way, even we all studied in the school, you will know that we are all taught the same way, even though whether we understand or don't understand. So whatever we don't understand, we are sent to tuitions. And even in tuitions, which teacher we like, which teacher we don't like, we just do the memorization over there without understanding about these factors of different subjects, and we end up just doing the exam for marks. So I remember myself doing many of the subjects for marks, because we have to pass, we have to go to the next level, we have to gain certain degree, we have to meet the expectations of the surroundings as a this bachelor's or that bachelor. So even for me, when I shifted my profession from computer engineering in bits, then totally coming into lactation counseling, everyone was surprised, and they were like, it was a very a head down kind of a reaction. That's like, oh, why did you shift to such unknown kind of a profession? What happened to your degrees? And why you didn't do a degree? You could have done so much more, you could have earned so much more. So the mindset of earning so much more, the mindset of looking good for the people around us, because the whole trend is engineering, the whole trend is doctors, or the whole trend is so and so profession. It does not mean that you are intelligent. It does not mean that you are able to cope up with all the stresses of life. It does not mean you are able to cope up with all the responsibilities that are going to come once you become a wife or a husband. So mainly I'm talking to mothers here. It's mainly focused on our mothers now. So as women, I have two daughters. So for me, as a homeschooling mother of two elder daughters, and my third one is a boy, which I have not yet seriously thought about how we are going to go for his career in the future. But I have thought that for my first three children, the main idea as a Muslim is we want to teach them the word of Allah. We want to teach them Quran. We want to teach them Arabic. So once they excel, or once that foundation of Arabic and Quran is laid, after that they can go about learning whatever they want. And parallelly, once they have been set up into this foundation, side by side, I have started off languages after that. The foundation is memorization, because their memorization is extremely good at the age of, from the age of 2 to 2.5, once they start speaking, and up to the age of 5 to 7, we can focus only on memorization. So the memorization was the core idea for me beginning. So I started with my eldest memorizing the surahs with me itself, and Alif Bata, exposing her to Arabic. So it's memorization, second coming the language. What we speak at home is one thing, and what we are going to expose her to is some other thing. So we started off with English first. Arabic also was side by side, but for me, it was a bit hard to think of the pathway for Arabic, because I wanted her to be studying Arabic from a native Arab. And native Arab means an Arab directly from Medina, because that's how, after my studies in Islamic knowledge, we had a higher vision for my children, that, and I stress this, that for the mothers to have a higher vision when they are trying to homeschool, like when they might want, or they would love if their children become scholars, or their children become higher understanding of students of knowledge, even when they are wives and mothers. The main part that is going to give them the survival skills is the knowledge of Islam, and the knowledge of their roles as a wife, how practically they would meet that skill set. So when I had found myself as lacking in a lot of things, because I was a BE graduate and engineer, and then I had a lot of good marks, an average student, above average student. But finally, when you get married, you realize so many things that you don't know, so many things that you might struggle with. So this is something which I wanted my children to build upon and get exposed to right now itself. The whole routine of life, the whole stresses of life, the whole struggles of life, laying the foundation of life is extremely important. So the why matters, why we choose homeschooling. Why do you want your child to homeschool? Why do you want to not send your child to school, or maybe also deal with the challenges of, like, people saying, talking about you, that why are you teaching your child in school, in at home, and why are you not allowing them to socialize? So you're going to deal all of these challenges also, right? So first you need to understand why you chose homeschooling. Why we chose homeschooling was multiple reasons: saving them from the exposure of we don't know what is going to happen there, and trying to undo a lot of things. Rather than undoing them, we could choose to just instill in them what we want them to learn as per the Quran and Sunnah. And the financial aspect is a very big aspect after of the main goal of Akhirah, because financially it is very flexible. We are not just paying every now and then, every month, the tuition fees, the yearly fees, and you're trying to save. We are in the stresses of saving. We have to borrow this, we have to borrow that, take this loan, that loan. We are never into the thoughts of loans for any form of education. So we have to think about how flexibly we can manage, and how efficiently, and how in a sustainable way we could manage the resources for my child, if we have a second or third one, so that we can carry on the same kind of learning materials to my second one or third one. So why we are choosing these kind of methods to homeschool, the why is a big thing that matters. Why do you need to go through the struggles of homeschooling is also that we need to answer. because we have to be ready when we take a decision. Whenever we are trying to go into something, we have decided that we're going to step into it and we are going to face the challenges and struggles. In the beginning, when I was very excited about homeschooling. I was like, wow, it's homeschooling. I can choose so many resources. I can do so many creativity. I can do all the crafts and art and crafts and trying to build a subject for her or anything. When I started doing and I saw her response, like she's not interested sometimes, she wants to play. Then I lost my motivation. And then again, I kind of stepped back and many times in my journey to homeschooling until and up till she was 6 years, I felt that, okay, I'll homeschool. And then again, I would say to my husband, no, 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 I cannot homeschool anymore. I'll put her in some nearby school. It's not possible. Because when I got my second, I was pregnant with my second, and then there were challenges. When we were in UAE, there were a lot of challenges because in UAE, we don't receive that much of help. You have to get a maid to take care, because when you're homeschooling, you have to manage a lot of routine. You have to be a good time manager. When you don't have a good time management skills, it'll be very difficult for you to understand your own routine and try to flex your routine also accordingly. You need to be very flexible in your routine also. You also need to work around the day. It'll be very fluid. It'll be very flexible. So you need to work around with the day in this way. So when you want to begin homeschooling, you should think why you are homeschooling, because the why matters. So how I felt initially was, my first thought, where do I begin? I searched a lot of resources on the internet. I kept on searching. I kept on searching. And then I came across a few resources like Iman Homeschool, and I think Asad Homeschool. There were so many homeschool, and there were so many resources, especially Iman Homeschool. It was so much. I was like, okay, now which subject do I start off with? What is it that I need to start off? Whether it's Arabic, whether it's Islamic studies. Now in Islamic studies, there were a few other topics. So okay, now in Islamic studies, which is the first print, I cannot take all the 100 prints together. I need to start one by one. So let me start off with very basics. So we need to understand the basics first. When we talk about where do I begin, we need to understand the basics. If you want to start off with Islamic studies, we need to take up that, okay, we're going to teach her Tawheed first. So take the resource of Tawheed, take the printout, or whichever way you can. It's better to take the printout anyways from Iman Homeschool, because they have all free printouts, and better to take a color printout. So when you take the printout, you will be able to now start off with one page at a time. Now, even for her, the whole series, level 1 series, I took a year to at least do it with her, year and a half. Because when I started off with her, she was around, I think, 4 years or something. So I just read it out and I wanted her to get exposed to it, how this works. And the only time she corely understand the whole thing was, I think, around 5 to 6 years only. I never had my eldest daughter sit and do things up until the age of 5 to 6 years. After she crossed 6.5 years is when I started telling her, this is the time that we'll sit together and we'll do a few things together. But activity-based worksheets were always there, like coloring, maze, all of these things was there for her at home. So it was like whenever we used to go to homeschooling gatherings, she was not so interested in worksheets because she always used to do worksheets at home. She always used to want to play outside when it was a meetup. So it was like that of kind of atmosphere that was given to her. So in where do I begin? It's always you first start off with the basics, the very, 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 very basics. And for that, you need to have a good knowledge of your aqidah, your basics on Tawheed. So unless you don't know things yourself, you will not be able to find the right resources, or unless you are being guided for the very basics of understanding Tawheed, for example, you cannot begin. It's going to be an obstacle for you. So, in short, if you're planning to homeschool, you need to have your basics set up. At least you have a guide or a mentor for you before you start with your child, or you have taken the course yourself, or you know the basics yourself. Now, resources is what you will find on the net. You will find a lot of coloring resources, a lot of resources when the Hajj comes, a lot of resources when Ramadan comes. So you need to filter out which kind of resources is suitable for your child. There are resources which have a lot of colors. Many children love a lot of colors. some websites will have less colors. So I always preferred websites which had less colors, because my child was naturally overstimulated with colors. And according to science, they say neurodivergent children, but somewhat she has these hyper qualities, and she's a strong-willed child. So I need to be very careful in selecting the resources for her, because first thing is what I needed to understand her learning style, and those kind of suitable resources is that I selected. And I used to take about like 20 to 30 pages of whatever resources I found in the beginning. For Aqida, maybe one. Math, I didn't start with her until she was 5 years. English, I started off with her when she was 3 years, because it was a program which was allowing children of 2 to 3 to even start getting exposed to phonics. So it was usually black and white resources up until the age of 5 to 6 years. After 6 years is when I started the colors for her. So this is how you need to build up on the learning style, on your child's personality and aptitude, because when you expose them to everything at one age, you will lose out on the variety also, and you will lose out on what kind of learner your child is. You need to be very well versed with what kind of learner your child is. There will be a lot of excitement, and with that excitement there will be a lot of doubt. So when you are trying to explore resources, you will be excited about, wow, this is also there, that is also there, but you will start doubting as to whether which resource is going to be suitable for you also and to the child, because you need to be the one teaching the child. When you are confused about that resource, how to take it up, you will not be able to teach the child. So take it slow in the beginning. And I think as a homeschooler, it's better to begin early, because by the time you understand your own capacity to teach, like if when your child is about 3 years or 3 to 4 years, is when you start understanding how capable or what's your capacity or skill into teaching, and you will try to modify those techniques and also learn what kind of uh, response your child gives to teaching. Because in the beginning, obviously every child is like, ha ha ha, you're a mama, how you're a teacher. That is what my children used to say. And then I had to tell them, no, when I'm a teacher, I'm a teacher. When I'm your mama, I'm your mama. How is it? You need to talk to them, you need to be communicating to them very well. So this is how it works. Sticking to the purpose when you are homeschooling, this is going to come on and on and on again in your homeschooling journey. The purpose is akhirah. The purpose is the trying to not go into the same mode of education system that normally is. You're setting up your own education system at home, which is going to be exclusive and unique to your house. Not all of us can homeschool. Not all of us can homeschool from age of 3 to age of uh, 10, 15 years. Not all of us can homeschool at a certain age range. So some of us would be homeschooling throughout, some of us would be not homeschooling, maybe for some period of time. So this is very flexible, very variable. We should not stick to like, oh my God, the way she has homeschooled her 15-year-old up until 15 years. I don't know if I can do that. Don't think about the future at that time. Just think about the present, and just think about what kind of foundation you're going to lay, especially if you're a mother of a young child. So this is what I had incorporated in my experience. Now after 8 years, my daughter is eight years now. So after those many years, now I am confident that yes, alhamdulillah, I am homeschooling, and now she's picking up in this education system of our house, alhamdulillah. The financial aspect, you need to sit and plan with your husband, and you need to have your own financial literacy, understanding of how you're going to use the money every month or every week, or how you're going to plan out in spending for the different resources. So this is how you need to plan your finance, in terms of even finance, not only in terms of resources, the finance in terms of when you're going to take the break, how many resources you're going to use this month, how many resources you're going to carry forward, how many resources you will have, maybe you can reuse for the next few years. For me, my resources have been mostly laminated, so that I want to use it for my second or third. Sometimes I keep it, just the print, and so that it is used and then you have to discard it. Some resources are books, some resources are worksheets, some resources are even like activity based books, the downloadable materials, digital resources. So it's very very dynamic. And then comes the exploration. So your purpose is always, you'll keep on exploring your journey into homeschooling, because at every stage you will be exploring what your child is interested in, what your child wants to do what your child doesn't want to do, why your child is reacting to this subject in this way, why is your child not learning something, why is your child so excited about something, what is the way your child picks up some subject, even in language or even in Quran, how your child learns, whether by looking, by seeing, by hearing. So these are the ways. This is like neuro linguistic programming. If you know about this, there are three types of learners: kinesthetic, auditory, and visual learners. So you need to be exploring your child. Basically, you need to actually have that reflection time for yourself. So now let's come to the discussion. I would want some of you to unmute. I would let me see if I can allow. Okay, I have asked one of you can unmute and then tell me what made you homeschool. Can you do it yourself? How far do you feel accomplished and do you wish to go ahead? If anyone wants to share, please do. Would anyone want to unmute and speak? Let's go on a small discussion. Are you allowed to unmute? If you can, let me know in the chat. Yeah, okay. So if anyone wants to speak up, they can. Does anyone want to discuss
Assalamualaikum.
what exactly made you homeschool? Can you do it yourself? Do you feel confident in starting off?
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Okay, there's a question: without any mentor or guide, how can we proceed for homeschooling? I didn't have any mentor or guide. How we can proceed for homeschooling? When I started homeschooling, I absolutely didn't have. I was searching for mentors and guides. There were a few that were there in UAE, but it was for children of the age 6 years and above. So for younger ones, I was trying to explore on myself, like understand her basically. At that age, I just wanted to understand how she would learn things, how she would respond to things. And then when I again when I conceived my second, it was again a gap. There was a gap in the homeschooling. So then again, I started exploring things. I think Allah raised her hand. Yes, Allah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. My question, can you hear me?
Can you unmute Allah and speak?
Yeah, I am speaking. Can you hear me? Hello?
I cannot hear you.
No, we can hear both of you.
I think Sister Aisha cannot hear me.
I cannot hear you, Allah.
Okay.
Okay, until you sort your mic out, I would just read out a sister has sent. I'm not homeschooling right now. My child is 2.5, so I'm still exploring. I do teach her basic things. That's very good.